On May 3, 2026, over 2.2 million medical hopefuls sat for the Neet undergraduate exam, an event requiring months of logistical planning and strict security protocols. 9 days later, the National Testing Agency took the unprecedented step of canceling the entire test, marking the first time in its 13-year history that the results were scrapped in their entirety. Protests erupted across the country as student organizations and medical bodies filed emergency petitions in the Supreme Court, citing systemic failures and demanding the dissolution of the agency. The cancellation proved that the centralized safeguards designed to protect the integrity of the nation's most competitive exam had failed. In response to the crisis, the government scheduled a complete re-examination for June 21st. The investigation revealed this wasn't a technical error. A multi-state criminal syndicate had successfully infiltrated the examination process. The National Testing Agency was forced to void the scores because investigators found the core content of the exam had been distributed to paying candidates weeks before the test date. The Central Bureau of Investigation identified the kingpin as P.V. Kulkarni, a chemistry lecturer originally from Latur. Kulkarni served as a domain expert for the National Testing Agency, a position that gave him legitimate, high-level access to the confidential question papers. In late April, Kulkarni mobilized students to his residence in Pune, bypassing technical security by hosting them in person. Kulkarni held a master copy of the exam and dictated the questions and options aloud. To avoid leaving a trail of unauthorized photocopies at this stage, he had the students manually transcribe the complex human physiology questions into their own notebooks. This single point of human corruption at the source effectively bypassed millions of dollars worth of physical and digital security measures. Once the Pune sessions were over, the master question paper Kulkarni had used was couriered to an accomplice in Nashik. In Nashik, the accomplice photographed the document, creating a digital version that was instantly transmitted to a contact in Gurugram. From Gurugram, a network of middlemen began marketing the photos, facilitating a wide-scale sale of the exam contents. By photographing the paper, the syndicate removed the geographical limits of the leak. The information could now be sent anywhere in the country in seconds. The leak eventually reached Sikar, Rajasthan, a region known for its high concentration of medical coaching centers. The syndicate cleaned up the leak, scanning handwritten versions into PDFs labeled as guess papers, which they sold for between 2 and 5 lakh rupees. These files were shared across Telegram channels and private WhatsApp groups, reaching students days before the actual exam. At the same time, other criminal groups were active. In Nalanda, police intercepted solver gangs using forged admit cards to place proxy examinees in test centers. By the morning of May 3rd, the black market for the exam content had already established a wide distribution network. Following a formal complaint from the Ministry of Education, the CBI took 3 days to identify the central figures of the syndicate. A series of nationwide raids resulted in the arrest of the Pune kingpin and 7 other suspects across Jaipur, Gurugram, and Nashik. Investigators seized mobile phones, laptops, and incriminating documents, which are currently undergoing forensic analysis to track the money moved during the leak. The fact that arrests were necessary in so many different cities indicated that the security breach had spread through multiple levels of the testing chain of command. To maintain the credibility of the medical admission cycle, the government ordered a mandatory re-exam for all 2.2 million candidates on June 21st. This decision forces every student to undergo the intense preparation process a second time, regardless of their personal involvement in the leak. While the CBI has dismantled this specific network, the controversy has led to calls for a fundamental restructuring of how national examinations are secured to prevent future insider breaches.